Did you know that you can be a part of the Rural Dispatch too? Whether you've got a question, a story, or just something on your mind, you can leave us a voicemail. We might even play it on a future episode. Head to the link in the show notes and hit record. It's quick, easy, and we would love to hear from you. Welcome to the Rural Dispatch, the podcast delivering stories from rural America. I'm your host, Allie Behrens. Headquartered in rural Iowa, I help run a nationwide livestock transportation company, and I'm here to bring you stories from the people who help shape this industry and our rural communities. Whether you're a trucker, livestock producer, or rural entrepreneur, this show is for you. Each week, we explore the realities of rural business life, from the highways to the fields and everything in between. So buckle up and let's dive into today's episode. Hey guys, today's guest is Brandon Roering, a dispatcher from Lambrick Livestock Trucking, and he's also the creator of Beef Hub. Brandon, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm glad I can make it down.
Yeah. Where did you travel from?
I'm from central Minnesota.
Why don't you give everyone a little bit of your background?
I dispatch for Lambrick Livestock Trucking. We're out of central Minnesota. My grandpa and my uncle started what we do now 25, 30 years ago.
Okay.
30 years ago, probably. So I've been around this thing my whole life.
You grew up with it.
Yeah. It's funny. I have pictures at home. You know, I've got a lot of cousins. So there's pictures at home there's 4 or 5 of us grandkids sitting in a truck, and we grew up around it. So it's most of what I know, really.
Right. Were you the only one that stayed, or do you work with families still?
We are a very, very heavily family-oriented company. My grandpa and my uncle started this in the late 90s. They grew it. My mom's involved. My dad's involved. I've got 2 cousins that drive. Another one that just graduated high school. He's getting ready he's going through his course now to get his CDL, so he'll be going by this fall. And so, yeah, there's a lot of family involved, which
that could be good and bad.
It can be good and bad. It's we all seem to work together and have a common goal. So it's worked out well, and everybody can be relied upon, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
That's good. That's good. Not all families work well together.
Yeah. You know what? You can find out pretty quickly usually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you figure it out, and family is more important sometimes than business. So
It is.
Good.
And actually, you know, I drove for a few years. Then I met my wife and decided that being gone probably wasn't for me. So then I sold my truck and got a day job, and I still drove truck, but just locally around home. And then my uncle ended up getting cancer, and I found myself back. You know, we had a family meeting, so to speak, about
what are we going to do?
What are we going to do? Because at that time, my grandpa passed away in 2010. So from 2010 up until a few years ago, he did 100% of the dispatching all the time, 7 days a week, and it was his show to run. And
that was his baby, and nobody else called the shots.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So yeah, you know, when he started going into treatment and the initial diagnosis wasn't great, you know, we all sat down and said, okay, well, what are our options here? And I guess it kind of just fell into things, and I started to help out. And next thing you know, I'm done with my other job, and I'm dispatching full time again. And him and I are kind of trading things back and forth. And yeah, that's where we are today. He did pass away a little over a year ago now. He's missed, but things are still clipping along.
Well, life goes on, right?
Right.
The business still has to move on, and that's one of the things that sucks about running your own business is like you don't get to just shut down operations just because you lose somebody.
Yeah.
You got to keep things moving. You got people that depend on you too. So
Yep. Customers and drivers, and that was maybe a good lesson to see firsthand, you know, that sometimes the work stuff, as much as it feels like it's the most important, at the end of the day, it's family and friends and the things that you want to get out of your personal life, that really matters too.
Oh, 100%. This industry will consume your life.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, especially with it when it's a family business, like even with me and Smoke, we work together all day, every day, and then we take it home with us too. And there's just no getting away from it.
Yeah, well, and it's the nature of the beast, about the time you try to get something personally done or, go somewhere, well, then something comes up and you got to take care of it. It's whether you like it or not, it's there and you gotta handle it. So It's a challenging thing, but at the same time, I'm not going to go back to having a job.
Yeah, a 9 to 5. I mean, what were you doing?
I drove a route truck for a couple of years.
Okay.
I'd go to work at 4, be done by 4, had Mondays off. Life was pretty good. Life was pretty good. I'm a lot more fulfilled now.
Yep.
It feels like what I do means a little bit more. Not every day.
Not right. Yep. It has its challenges too.
Yes.
But you said it perfectly there. A lot of people prefer to just go to their job and go home. But there's a bigger picture when you're running a business, and there's more to it than, it doesn't look like fun to a lot of people.
Right.
And it's not fun all the time, but there's definitely a trade-off.
Well, and it's kind of funny, you guys would know, but there's so much that goes on behind a closed door when midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, you're trying to figure something out, a truck is down or there's something wrong with the cattle or any number of 1,000 things that could be going on. But I wouldn't trade that for having to report to the man every day.
Don't get me wrong. You still work for somebody. Just in a different sense.
Yeah.
In a different sense.
Yep.
You can kind of control who you work for. If there's a customer that's not good to work with, you just don't work with them anymore.
Yeah.
You get to make that decision.
Right.
Whereas if you're going to a job every day and hate your boss and relying on that paycheck, that's tough.
Well, yeah, and we're lucky, we've got a lot of very, very, very good customers and they've been around for a long time and, for the most part, things go well, but, there's things that are out of their control as well. And you take it as it comes and we're very fortunate.
Overall, this is a great industry to be in. The people you work with, really good people and honest people, and everyone really does understand that not everything's going to go perfect. The livestock industry in itself, that's about the only industry where your livelihood is dependent on things that are completely outside of your control, like the weather. And there's things that affect it that nobody can control.
Right. And I've had to have some conversations with some of our customers, and it's like, hey, man, if they could be there sooner, that works out better for me too, but nothing ever goes as quickly as you and I both hope, because trust me, I want them to be there faster too.
Yep. Yeah. They are human.
They are human. And I'm not above that myself either. So I've had my moments as well. And
I think we've all been there.
Yep. Some guys would tell you that.
Yep. Okay. So did you start driving right out of high school? Were you over the road or what?
So I did a little stint in college. I went to North Dakota State, had the time of my life, made lifelong friends. But as far as education goes, I was lighting money on fire. It was an expensive few years, but I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade the friendships that I made.
Yeah.
You can't put a dollar value on that. So
you're absolutely right.
It's a good experience and I wouldn't go back. But anyways, when it finally got through my thick skull that college wasn't for me, I came back and drove my uncle's truck that he had parked because he was dispatching full time. I drove that for a period of time and then got into my own and had that for a few years. And, we stick to the upper Midwest for the most part, but we'll kind of get all over the place, here and there, season dependent. So,
yep.
Yeah, upper Midwest is kind of our most common territory we'll run around in.
What was your first truck?
I had an 02 W900.
Okay.
With a Detroit in it. If there's not oil under it, there's not oil in it. But it was, you know what? It was a good truck. I only had it for a few years, but
yep.
It was a good truck. Had I known what I know now, I would have parked it in the shed for a few years and let COVID hit and sold it for twice or more what I bought it for. But
yeah, well, hindsight, right?
Yep.
probably would have done things a little differently.
Yep.
So you said you got married.
Yep.
And decided to be home a little bit more.
Be home a little bit more. Being gone on the road, that's not for everybody. And my wife, she endures a lot and has. But I didn't want to be gone all the time, and the phone rang and I had to go to work, and whether you were planning on something or not. So yeah, I just decided that I wasn't going to be gone and be home more, and got a little family going now, and that was more important than
that was the
being
priority.
gone.
Yeah. Well, and some marriages seem to thrive on people being apart.
Yeah.
And others don't, and that's okay. And it's good when you can recognize that.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. One of our drivers' wives actually told me one time, she's like, it's great when he's home, but maybe not so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, exactly. And I think it probably depends on your whole life experience too, but some people are really good at being independent and really want their own space and to be independent. And I think those are probably the people who thrive on being apart.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? In hindsight, knowing what I know now and how things ended up happening, when I sold my truck and was home more, I learned a lot of things and grew, not to sound corny, but grew as an individual. I don't know that if I had still been driving and hauling cattle that I would have been ready to step in to do what I'm doing now.
Well, and I feel like that happens a lot too. Like, you keep the truck as a backup plan. You can always go trucking if what you're going to do doesn't work out.
But yeah, it's hard to say if I would have, I don't know what could have happened. You can always stray from home, but you always find yourself back.
You always find your way back.
That's kind of the way I would describe it.
Well, and it sounds like as far as the business itself, it's a family business. Like, there was a place for you there.
Yeah. And actually, so when I came back to start helping in the office with the phones and all of that stuff, I think it took my uncle having some help to finally realize, like, okay, wow,
I needed this.
Yeah, he told me one time, he goes, I should have done this a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm in his shoes, I understand how hard it is to give up the control and put your faith and trust in somebody else to take care of your baby the way that you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand where he's coming from.
Yep. I mean, I see that here. Like, to me, it's very obvious that we could probably hire a second dispatcher and there would be plenty of work to go around.
Yeah.
But for Smoke, giving up that control is really difficult.
Yes, it's hard. And, we did hire a dispatcher. He wore a lot of different hats. He would help out in the shop and would help me in the office and whatnot. But, the dispatching for him was tough. The learning curve was a little steep, and he went off and is doing something different now. And
well, it's not for everybody, right? Like, this is a different beast of a job every day. I mean, you're married to it, whether you like it or not.
Right. And it's a hard thing for your drivers. It's a hard thing for your customers. They are used to dealing with one person, and, that one person, things go pretty smooth because they're the ones that know what's going on. And it's hard to get everybody accustomed to letting somebody else in the door.
Yeah.
Not only myself to let somebody else in the door, but
the adjustment for everyone else. You're absolutely right.
And as the person who is responsible for bringing someone else aboard, it's very important, for me to not have them, the customers and the drivers, question your new help. And, there's growing pains with everything. There's a learning curve to all this.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so was there any pushback when you came back to start helping?
No, actually, well, there may have been. Not.
I assume that some of the drivers are older than you and had been working for your uncle and grandpa for a long time, and were used. And then this kid comes in and is telling them what to do. Yeah,
you know what? I think it helped a lot that I have walked at least a couple miles in their shoes. Behind a closed door, they might have their things to say.
Oh, I'm sure.
But you know what? We're lucky. We have a really, really good group of guys, and a lot of them were around from when I drove. So I had working relationship with the guys we have, or a lot of them, and everyone has treated me with respect. And I think what it amounts to is you just got to go to work and kind of prove yourself.
Absolutely.
It takes some time, but that's kind of what it amounts to. If you're half-assing things, it doesn't take long. For guys that have been around the block a time or two, they'll figure that out pretty fast.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They would pick up on that. We've
been fortunate. We've got a very, very good group of guys, and from the business end, we've got, not to toot our own horn, but when they have trouble, the phone always gets answered, whether it's, our mechanic, if there's a payroll issue, it's 8, 9 o'clock at night. If there's trouble, the phone gets answered, and everybody gets paid on time and what they're supposed to. And it takes everybody to make everything work. So
yeah. And that's one thing in this industry, you see you guys bounce around quite a bit. Drivers will look around and whatnot, but if you've got a dependable, steady business, everybody's getting paid on time.
Yeah.
We might not get paid, but our drivers are getting paid, or our owner-operators are getting paid. That's to have that in this industry is really important if you want to keep good guys around.
Yeah, yeah. Our drivers, they deserve that. They deserve it. They're gone from their families. They work.
They give a huge sacrifice.
Yeah, yeah. It's at the very least, they deserve people on our end of things to care about them and their livelihood. And without them on the forefront of everything, we don't have a business.
Yeah, they are the business. They're the ones that keep it running. Without them, and they're the face of the business too, right? That's the face that the customers see. It's not us behind the phone.
Yeah. And it's actually funny, when my uncle passed away, and then we had the services, and there was people that came from all over the place that he had dealt with for 20 years that have maybe never seen him. I met a lot of people that I've dealt with that I've never seen. So, you put a face to a name, and it's a weird thing. You've got all these people you talk to every single day, and I don't have a clue what they look like.
Yeah. You're so right.
Yeah. So when the drivers are out in the field, and they have these interactions with the customers, whether they know it or not, they're the ones that I would argue they have a bigger influence on, a customer's impression on how we do things than what I do, because, they're the ones that are out there handling the cattle, handling their very costly animals.
Yeah.
So whether they know it or not, that is very, very important. And they work hard and they get there on time. So at the very least, they can get paid on time. They can get treated well, and they deserve that.
Yep. Do you ever drive anymore? Or are you strictly office man?
I will drive. I don't have a truck anymore. As a company, we own the trailers and we handle the loads, and we have owner operators that lease on with us. Holidays. Holidays, when guys are on vacation and I'm underwater a little bit, I'll hop into one of the guys' truck and I'll go, 4th of July or Thanksgiving or whatever.
Isn't Thanksgiving the worst? Let's just stop right there. Thanksgiving on a Thursday is the worst time for a dispatcher.
Yeah, I've told a lot of people this summer that having the 4th of July fall on a Friday, we need to recognize 4th of July on a Friday, whether it's the 5th, 6th, whatever.
Yep.
Put it on a Friday. Make everybody's lives a little easier. When it lands on a Tuesday, it
screws up the whole week.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
And everybody's growly. Nobody has a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanksgiving's another one that's tough to work around. And Thanksgiving's tough because everyone's tired by then. It's kind of a quieter week, but not quite quiet enough that,
not everybody can be home.
Right. As a dispatcher, everybody's got their own personality and what they like. And
some guys would prefer to be gone for a month at a time, and others want to be home a little more regularly.
We've got a nice mix of both. The guys that are around home, and when times are a little slower, like what they are now, if you leave them home, they're perfectly fine and dandy. And then there's some guys that they leave in September, and if they didn't come home till spring, they'd be tickled pink. So it's you got to have both.
Well,
You
yeah,
gotta have
you
both.
have to have a balance, and that definitely helps make everything work a little bit better too.
Yeah. If you had, if you had only guys that wanted to work, well, that isn't going to be very good either, because then when times are a little tougher, or weekends, or,
Yeah.
you just, you don't have the work for them.
Yeah. So did you grow up around livestock at all, or?
My grandpa had some cattle that he turned out. So a little, I don't know if you'd call it a hobby farm. I don't know. He had maybe 30, 40 cows or something out in the pasture.
Okay.
But my exposure to cattle is through hauling them. And I guess I was around that since before I can remember. So it's just 8, 9, 10-year-old me was running up and down the alley at the sale barn. And actually, you wouldn't get away with this now, but back when the South St. Paul Stockyards was open, me and my cousins, we were 8, 9, 10 years old. Grandpa or Uncle Jeff was sleeping, and we'd run down and watch the sale. And man, thinking about it now, and as a dad, that's insane.
Yeah.
What were what were they thinking?
Who was in charge of us?
Yeah, we were just, and the people that were there at the sale were probably watching us going, "What the hell are these kids' parents?" But that was a different time.
Yep. Yeah, things have definitely changed.
Yeah.
And not that long of a time span either.
Not in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-mm.
No. My exposure to cattle is mainly just what we do now, and I've been around it for a long time.
Mm-hmm. You guys haul any other livestock or just cattle?
We get into hogs a little bit. Not real big hog country up by us.
Yeah.
We'll do some. There's some producers around that we'll do some stuff for. It's just a small fraction of what we do. It's mainly cattle. You guys have a lot of hog guys down here.
We do.
This is hog country.
A lot of hogs in Iowa, southern Minnesota.
I think in a 20-mile stretch, I probably met 10 on the road coming down here. So
I believe it.
Well,
there are guys around here that are dedicated strictly to just hogs. We obviously haul some, but we do cattle, and we'll haul sheep and goats too if we have to. So
yep.
But getting guys that will
that is a
load
trick.
Hogs is
yep. That's a trick.
Another one too. So
that's a trick. And then you mix in the other funny farm animals, and we got we got roped into hauling a load of emus one time.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a interesting deal. Apparently, emu oil is a thing.
Whoa, that's a big thing, actually.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yes. My mom and grandma are big emu oil fanatics. I don't know. They went to some home show or something, and I don't know, arthritis or who knows what. I couldn't tell you.
Some holistic thing.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, they swear by it. So I don't know.
Well, I might have to check that out myself.
Yeah.
My wife's one of them crunchy moms, so maybe we'll be an emu oil family maybe one day.
There you go. Yeah. Buffalo is another one,
Do you do that from time to time?
We don't. No. Smoke would love to. So,
really?
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, that sounds like, I think they're hard on shit. So I
don't know.
That's,
I don't have any, we don't have any personal experience with that, but that's what I've heard. I've heard that they will wreck things, and it doesn't take very long. So I've strayed away from it because these trailers are expensive.
They are expensive.
Come to find out.
Yeah. You don't want to send a brand new one to load those, I don't think.
No. We actually sold a trailer to a guy that's all he does. He lives out west somewhere, and he hauls buffalo, and he said before he puts anything in there, he has to go and reinforce everything on the inside. He said it won't even look like the same trailer.
Dang.
And by the time he's done with it, it'll be good for the scrapyard.
Yep.
So that's all I need to know that we'll probably just stay away from that.
We'll pass on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the temperament, dangerous.
Oh, so dangerous.
Yeah. Fast, lightning fast.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Cattle are bad enough, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Smoke got ran over just the other day, and he was loading fats out here, in the morning, and he called and he said, "Hey, can you bring me a change of clothes?" And I can't hear him like, "Are you okay? Like, you look like you just got the shit beat out of you."
Like you got rolled down a shit hill.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I
Yeah,
don't know.
it
It's not.
happens.
It's a dangerous job, and I think
It's
some people kind of forget that. These guys aren't. It's a little different hauling livestock. These guys load themselves. The farmer's not loading their trailer for them.
right.
So
Right. Well, and people on the outside don't understand that when you enter that trailer, if things go sideways,
there's nowhere to go.
there's nowhere to go. You're entering, you're walking into a jail cell basically, and things got to go right every single time, or it can be very bad.
Yeah.
And you hear about it happening a lot. Knock on wood, we've been fortunate to stay away from any real big injuries or catastrophes like that. But man, it can happen in the blink of an eye.
You're right, and that's when things happen. It's the guys that have done this a million times that something goes wrong.
Yeah, and it's the 1,000,001th time that'll get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, all it takes is one time, and or something dumb happening. You get a gate kicked that you don't quite have a good grasp on, and then your teeth are missing.
Yeah. Okay, so you recently, I think just in March, was it March that you launched this Beef Hub app?
End of March, beginning of April, something like that.
Spring
Yep.
of 25.
Yep.
Okay, give us like a little overview of what it is, first of all.
So I guess it acts as basically a directory of all the places that our guys go every day. I guess I maybe should start with the light bulb went off one day. I was actually talking to a driver of ours, and we were giving each other a hard time. We get along well, so I had sent him some place that he's been to 100 times, and he was being a smart ass. And he's like, "Well, can I get a pin drop for that?" And then I said, "Do you need a pin drop for where your cattle are too?" And he told me, he goes, "Oh, I'd give my left nut to have that." And the light bulb went off. I'm like, "Yeah, that would be nice."
Yeah. Well, how many times does it happen that you send somebody to a sale barn and they call? And it's always at like 10 o'clock at night and they're like, I can't find my cattle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no light switches anywhere either.
No,
That's one thing you need on the app is just where's the light switches?
Yeah.
I don't care about the pen of cattle as long as I can turn a light on to see where I'm going.
Right. Well, and I've been there myself. You're walking around in the dark and the rain and trying to follow the highline wires to where the lights are going, and you can't. You go to this box and you open up the box and the circuit's out of it. So then that's not it. And yeah, that's the goal, is just to try to give everybody the tools to kind of make things a little bit smoother.
So that you don't have to, don't get me wrong, communication is great, but there's not always the need to be waking everybody up in the middle of the night just to find a pen of cattle.
Right. Well, and you know what? On the other hand of it, things are on a time crunch, and if you can't find them, you got to figure out a way to do it. But yeah, that's kind of where it started, and I know that pain because I've wandered around for miles through a sale barn trying to find something, and you're headed down an alley of pens, and then all of a sudden the numbers change, and you're not even hardly in the right county.
Mm-hmm.
And every barn is different, and their system is different, and it makes sense to them. But, in talking to a lot of different barn owners trying to put all this together, not all of them get it. They're like, well, what's the big deal? And it's like, well, to you guys, it's not a big deal because you work here, every day or 3 days a week or whatever. Our guys go to somewhere different every single day. There's only so much memory a person can store in their brain.
Right.
At the very least, contact information. As dispatchers, contact information for somebody that can actually help.
Yeah.
Rather than us, because
that's the thing. You get a call and it's like, well, I'm not there, so I don't know how to help you.
Yeah. Well, and then so then it turns into this middleman game of, so then you give them a phone number. Well, then they don't answer, so then I'm trying to call them. And then, you finally get a hold of somebody and tell them they're over here, and it's, why don't I just stay out of it altogether?
Yeah.
How about that? Because then everything can just go a lot more, smoothly. There's less hands involved in things. And sorry to say, there's not always a reason to call me at 1 a.m.
Right.
So maybe this whole thing is a little bit...
a little selfish?
A little selfish. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, it is nice to have that tool to use that's, readily available and up to date,
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of these resources that we have out there aren't always up to date,
Yeah, so, that's kind of where it started, and it was kind of a funny joke gimmick for a while, and like, man, that would be a good idea. Our guys would use something like that, or at least I would hope.
Mhm.
I just knew that if it was something that I had the ability to have access to, I would. For whatever reason, I get these stupid little business ideas all the time, and for whatever reason, this one just kind of hung there. It just kind of pecked at me, and I knew that it would be kind of a daunting task, and I got to thinking about it more, and I'm like, well, if my guys can benefit from it and I can benefit from it, why couldn't it benefit people across the country?
Right.
And we're all feeling the same pain. I mean, in our conversations with you and Smoke, we run different businesses and stuff, but it's all the same.
We all have the same
Yeah.
pain points
Yeah.
to an extent.
Yeah. So then it turned into, okay, well, what other things are kind of a pain in the ass to find? You go to some of these kill plants and they've got different protocol for when you show up there. You can't just show up. You got to call.
Yep.
The next place is don't call, just show up.
Yep.
Oh, but you got to have the right CB number, which, that's another thing we'll have to work on. And trying to find washouts in a part of the country you're not familiar with. And there's just, it's 2025. I felt like the resources that exist were outdated, and I just felt like they could be more user friendly. And I guess we took a leap of faith, and I kind of dove into what it would take to build something like that. And my wife and we took a leap of faith and we built it, and we're still building on it. I mean,
well, if you would wait until everything was in there, it would never be done.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And when we launched, I was very, very apprehensive about letting it out to the public because I didn't believe that it was good enough. It wasn't the final product that I want. Well, our developer finally got it through to me that, it's never going to be what you deem to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's not where you're trying to go right now doesn't mean it doesn't have value for somebody out there.
Yeah, 100%.
So they finally encouraged us to, put it out there, get some feedback from people, find out what works, what doesn't, prior to it being made available to the public. I had some of our own guys testing it and looking at things, and if you're chasing a perfect polished platform or product or whatever you want to call it, you'll never get there.
Mm-hmm.
Put it out, get some feedback, find out what you have to fix and change or add, and just go with it. But just because it's not where you want it to be doesn't mean that it doesn't have value for somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. I mean, because from the business side of things too, you could dump money into this forever.
Oh, forever.
And never be where you wanted to
Yeah.
be. And getting that feedback from folks, I think, that are actually using it is good too. You might realize that there is more weight. You should focus your energy on the sale barns versus the washouts or the plants or whatever.
Yep.
I'm sure you've gotten maybe some of that feedback too.
And I should caveat, the sale barn thing, keep in mind that we do need some participation from the owners of these barns.
Right. They have to agree to it.
Yeah. I'm not just walking around scalping yard information.
Taking your drone
no.
All right, well, this is what I see. I'm going to make a map.
Yeah. And not only, I'm pretty sure that's illegal if I did that.
Yeah.
We're still working on it, and the guys that have brushed us off, you kind of circle back around and be a pest at them again. And hopefully eventually the word spreads and they might hear about it from somebody, a driver or somebody that might encourage them that it's a good idea to let their information be more accessible so that they're not getting phone calls at midnight, 1, 2 in the morning.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And to anybody listening, I mean, if you have recommendations or if there's a pain point that, you're feeling that doesn't have an answer out there, I mean, by all means, reach out and we can try to fix some of these things, because the industry as a whole is just, it's kind of one of them things that I feel like is behind the times a little bit.
Well, it is.
Yeah,
It totally is.
Hopefully this is a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And maybe my vision's a little bit lofty, and it might sound stupid to some, but you know what? If it can help somebody save 2 hours of wandering around when it's 25 below zero at midnight, then that's what it's for.
Yeah. Well, and we're all on social media. How many times do you get on Facebook and see, is there a washout near
All the time?
place? I mean, every day you see something.
all the
Somebody's
time.
looking for something.
Yeah.
A centralized place to go and find that, I think, is definitely a need out there. Now, the trick is getting people to use it.
Right.
So,
and, there is a cost to have it. I felt like we've made it cheap enough to justify having it. I'm not trying to laugh all the way to the bank here. If in a year's time you use it, you save yourself 4 hours or you save yourself 20 miles, well, you're money ahead. Money ahead. So
that's a good way to look at it.
But at the same time, I have to charge something because it's been quite a hefty investment to.
Well, yeah, your time
and money. It's been a very interesting process, and it's not been a cheap one, and it's been very time consuming.
Well, yeah, nothing in technology is cheap either. I mean, that's
right.
I'm in the wrong industry. I wish I was a little bit smarter, because if you go into tech, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, big time. So yeah, I mean, it's yes, it does cost a little bit. My rationale is if it can save you in the course of 1 year's time, 5 hours, a few miles, you're money ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I've heard from a couple of our guys, younger guys, because obviously they're the ones that are a little more open to technology and really love that it's at their fingertips.
So. Well, okay, that's another tangent we can go down, if you will. I mean, eventually there will be a time where there will be a generation of our guys that will leave and retire, and the ones that are coming in to replace them, for one, this is not an easy job, and the learning curve is steep, and if we want to usher in the next generation of livestock haulers and get them to stay and take pride in what they do, in my opinion, you're going to need to give them the tools to make, even if it's 1% easier. I mean, 1% easier. And if that's all it does, I mean, it's the people that are coming, we got to be better at training them and giving them the tools they need to succeed. And not to gripe about the industry, but there are a lot of guys out there that they're a little rough around the edges, let's say, and very unwilling to help. And none of our guys, of course, but you see things online. And my one maybe gripe about the industry is it can be a little clicky, if you will, and some guys are better than others, and nobody wants to help the next guy. And from the 30,000 foot view, if a generation of drivers leaves and there's nobody there to fill that, we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. And just in general, things are changing. The way we get directions. People used to give step-by-step directions. Turn down this road. Don't go this way. Now it's just a pin drop. You're not getting directions to where you're going. And some of these guys get in trouble. These older guys who have been doing it forever and got the step-by-step directions at one point or another know these things.
Yeah.
They know, they get the pin drop. They know where they're going, and they know which way to take. So what all is in the app? Because you've added a few new things since you initially launched.
Yep. So it started as kind of a directory, I guess, if you will. Feedlots, which
you'll never get all.
We'll never get all of them. We'll never get all of them. Sale barns, as far as the fine details of their facility, I think we'll be working on that forever. It just takes time and it takes some convincing. Washouts, which for myself, if I were to put myself back in a truck, is a nice pain point to solve. You don't have to sit and rummage through Google and
figure out if this place is still open.
Yeah, still open.
How late they're open.
And I've personally called, a vast majority of these, and they're all about it. They love it. They want the exposure and they want the business that it can bring.
It gets people in their door too.
Yeah. Packing plants. I think that kind of covers it.
Now, if somebody has a business that they want listed in there, can they reach out to you to get you their information?
Yep. Go on our website. You'll find an email address there. Send us an email. For us to add your facility or add some resources, it takes us, a few clicks of a button. And
it doesn't cost them anything
No,
to be listed in the directory either.
It doesn't cost them a thing.
I'll link your website and everything in the show notes.
Sure.
So people can find it pretty easy
Sure.
if they want to submit anything.
So since our initial launch, I know that our hours of service exemptions is a little bit confusing. We have a tool on there where you can basically kind of monitor your trip, if you will. It's a radius tool, basically. You can set your loading location and your destination, and if you keep the app running while you're traveling,
it'll tell you when you hit your ag exempt radius.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you're getting close to where you're going to run out of your exemption for your logbook, it'll tell you. If you leave your exemption, it'll tell you. When you're back within your exemption, it'll tell you.
Because, there's tools out there for that, right? Yeah. But to have everything in one place makes it really simple.
Yep. We've added a load board, so I'm hopeful to get that some traction. I've posted a couple of my own things on there, and for the guys leery of using it, the stuff that I've posted, I don't think has lasted 5 minutes. So we've got that. And, if you're a dispatcher or you're a independent guy that's around somewhere, if you're looking at the home page, which is a map, we have a specific pin color to show you where there's loads available, and it shows you where you're at, so you can kind of see, on a map, what's available where and how it works in conjunction with where you're sitting at.
Is there a forum on there?
Yep, there's a forum. We've got a forum. You can have some discussion on there, bounce some things back and forth, try to get some things sold. If you're looking for work, put it in the forum. I'd like to see a community get built, and kind of have a togetherness, if you will, and make things a little more welcoming for the next generation that comes. And I think that's important. You know what? Whether people like it or not, the reality is that there's going to be a large amount of guys that are going to be leaving and retiring.
Just because it was hard for the older generations doesn't mean it has to be as hard for the next generation either.
Right. Just because you may have learned everything the hard way doesn't mean that everybody has to.
Right.
If there can be things that are made slightly simpler or easier. That being said, if there's ever any issues, please tell me, because
you can't monitor everything 24/7 either.
Right,
and this is really a passion project for you. You've got your own full-time job. You can't babysit it 24/7.
Right. And I don't, there's thousands of pins. I can't, if something's not accurate, tell me. I can't monitor everything. My wife can't, she's got a full-time job. She can't monitor everything, Again, as much as we want to think that we're doing something, we're nothing without the guys on the road.
Yep, you're right. Well, I love what you're doing. I think it's a great resource.
Thank you.
For guys to use.
And likewise, my wife had found you guys. I listened to a couple and I was laughing because, man, I can relate. I can relate to a lot of things. And it's funny, prior to us, having conversations about all this stuff, I've actually talked to Smoke on the phone before, and he had posted something to the load board once, and I called him, and can he answer the phone? I'm like, hold the phone away. I'm like, did he say Smoke?
Yep.
So then I'm like, he probably thought I was a moron, because there was like a long pause for a second. And so then we, carried on with the conversation. But so now where we are now, meeting you guys, it's funny, It's
everything makes a little more sense.
Yeah. When I started listening, it's like, I'll be damned. That's the same guy that I couldn't figure out what his name was.
Uh-huh.
And what's funny is, he's got a little bit of a southern accent, or at least that's my northern.
Yeah. Well, you think that's southern. Okay.
I probably sound like a moron too, but so I can hear an accent. So when I initially talked to him, I want to say what I had talked to him about was something down Kansas or something. So I just assumed that that's where, your guys' outfit was out of, down south somewhere further. And come to find out you're just here in Iowa. I'm like, oh, well, could have fooled me.
Not as far south as you thought.
Yep, could have fooled me. But
oh, that's funny.
Being where we are now, that's kind of a funny little story.
All right. Well, if people are interested in signing up for the app, we do have a code.
Yeah.
Code rural.
Yep.
Enter that. What do they get?
So you'll get the trial, which is 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then if you use the code rural, you'll get your first month for free.
Okay.
And, for the guys that are already users, we do have a referral section in the menu, so you can refer your own friends as well. Send them a code. If you refer 2 new users, you'll get a month free as well. Everybody that uses a code at sign up will get their first month free.
Okay.
When we talked to the developers and I wanted to give everybody a month free, through the referral program, they thought that was a little too much, but I want to give people time to use it and see if it has value to them. I think in the grand scheme of things, it's relatively inexpensive tool to have, but I can't be the one to decide that for you. So let's get you 6 weeks. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, cancel it. That's, what, I understand. Fair. That's my theory. That's my rationale anyhow. So
I love it.
So use the code.
All right. And let us know what you think.
Yes. Feedback always welcome. Like you said, this is a passion project. So I want to provide the best resource that can be available. And I can't do that without feedback.
Love what you're doing. Thanks for being here today.
You bet. I'm glad I could swing through.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Rural Dispatch. I hope you found something valuable to take back to your own operation. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. You can keep up with me between episodes on socials at Barons & Co. or join our email list on our website to get new episodes delivered straight to your inbox every Wednesday. Until next time, keep those wheels turning. We'll talk soon.